Alright, this is a quick demo of the new generic actions layers changes I've made over the last 72 hours. Just to give an idea, I'm not going to go into details. A bunch of new names. I've renamed a bunch of the pointer auras in the assets. So let's just cover it. First of all, you can see here, Ravina has a aura of courage, and you have to make sure that that aura of courage has a unique name over here, or else you will get into problems when it tries to match effects to assets. So anyway, you can see she's got that there, and aura of courage. It's a named asset now. That's courage, aura of courage, keep size underbar 10, which is going to make it a fixed size of 10, going from either side of the token, including the token spacing. So essentially, that's like 10 feet this way, right? In all directions toward the edge. If I actually centered it, I don't use locking. You can see when I move it, it moves it, but you can see it's 10, 10, 10. This is just an arbitrary thing I've copied for all my auras. It's in the proper directory, generic actions effects. It happens to be in my module, but you could just put them in the directories where they're expected. But one change is I've made this keep, and now it moves and plays with it correctly when I drag it around. And also, as it's a keep, you can see these, like this invisible guy here who doesn't show up over here on the client side. When he moves around, you know, all the grouped layer things and for the effects, and in his case GA effects only. These are groups of effects to keep layers from spamming your whole thing. Like the Aura of Courage Ravina is a fixed single item. You don't want to make many keeps because then you'd flood your layers here with keeps. You could, but I don't. I have them all generically in the same group, so when one clears, they all clear. When one gets updated, they all get updated. And you can see the keep doesn't change unless it's doing it. And of course, if I'm going to do the attack, let's go ahead and go to actions. We'll just kick off a battle axe. You'll see the standard things that I have in my modules going off. And that's a temporary thing that'll go away with, button down. But if I dragged and that was there, that's that. And then of course now the pointers have changed so that if I put any kind of shape, doesn't matter. All it's trying to do is find from the cone, square, circle, a placement point right there. If it doesn't have the pointer one, which would have all the old rules that it originally had, if you don't have those, don't worry about it. So let's say if I do fog cloud, right? There's the fog cloud. That's the correct size. And of course, if I remove the fog cloud, right? And that was on the client side, just to show that you can do it from either side. It goes away. And of course, if I have the fog cloud there, in the old stuff, you'd have to move the pointer around and do that. But now you can just move this around and it follows it with it. And it's got an aura and all that. Again, I'm not going to go into all this. Just showing you the new stuff. Another thing is this is a kind of different, this is a difficult terrain one I've got to find. Again, if you look at that asset, you can see I just made a volcano for the heck of it. And I was naming it difficult terrain keep. So it's a keeper and size of 20. And there are different size things. Like here, I'll go ahead and remove this again. And we'll go ahead and play something interesting like web. Okay, there's the web, and if you look at web, you can see it's got a different name description. There it is. Web NPC keep size S20. So NPC is one of the new keywords, and size new keywords, and there's three of those: size S, size, and size C. Size S is taking that length as if it's an entire side centered on the token. If you have size C, it's moving from the center outward like a radius, and then if it's size, it goes off of the token boundaries. Different spells require different things. So, and that just gives you a fixed way rather than having you define the size with the pointer naming, which is still there, but I don't use it anymore except for things like Cone of Cold or things that really don't have an NPC associated with them. All right. Go ahead and close off the web. Right. That's about it. Oh, if you delete a token now, um, it'll actually take away the uh, graphics with it. These are things that should have always been doing what it's doing now, but never did. And of course, if I drag it on here, this also didn't happen. It would put it out there. That's about all I wanted to show.